Okay, so then where does destiny come in then? If you
Destiny, yeah.
if you're vibrationally shifting through these different realities, then is destiny real?
Yeah, see, we look at destiny through, so we see destiny through the mind, okay? And the mind can only see um, forward or backward. Well, actually, the mind can't see forward. It can only ever see backward, all right? So when we look at things from the mind's perspective, we look at things from a past, present, future perspective, and we think that the future hasn't happened from a mind perspective. Okay, but from a soul perspective, soul can see what has already happened. Soul can already see the choices that you've made. Okay, so the past, present, and future all happen simultaneously from a soul perspective, but from a mind perspective, it has to look at it from a it hasn't happened yet. So that's why you then think that you know. So you are destined to be with somebody, and you will be with somebody. Okay, but
Destiny
that
could
is
be the experience that you chose to have, consciousness chose to have, like you say, potentially.
yeah. So an example of this was I went and bought some incense sticks the other day, and I left them in my ute for whatever reason. I think because I was going to take them over to the practice the next day. I didn't bring them inside. I didn't put them in a bag. I didn't do anything. For some reason, I just went, oh, I can just leave them in the ute. And so then the next day I woke up. I woke up quite anxious because it was the day that it was on Friday when there was an exam that was going to happen, and I was getting anxious for the students, and I needed to get everything done. So I noticed my vibrationary rate dropping because I was, just in the state that I was in, and I really couldn't get myself out of it. But then when I went to my ute and I opened up my car to then hop into it, I then smelt the incense, and the incense then took me to another place. So see how my higher self knew that I needed to leave the incense in the car because it knew the next day I would need to smell that to then bring me back into alignment. So I was destined to smell the incense to bring me back into alignment, even though it hadn't happened. Intuitively, I knew that's what I needed to do. So see how your intuition is part of your non-physical, it's part of the field, but the field can see all of the potential realities that are going to happen, the timelines. Yeah. So you are destined, you have many destinies. See, it's not just one. And destinies, we can look at timelines. And so your higher self can see all of these timelines that are more, that there's more opportunity, more chance that you will then follow. And that's like when you go to a clairvoyant, they can only tell you your timelines. They cannot tell you something you don't already know, because otherwise they wouldn't know it, because they're picking it up from the field. They're not magical in any way. They're just listening to what you've already created. And from a Abraham Hicks perspective, they're tapping into your vortex. They're seeing what you've already put in there, and they're seeing what is most likely to happen. And they will give you maybe 2 or 3 of the most potentials that you've already created. See how you create your own destiny? Through your own thoughts. But then you think, oh, well, am I destined to do this? Well, intuitively, yeah, maybe you are, but intuitively also, I've already created this. Even for you coming onto this plane of existence, and this ripple effect. When I spoke to it initially to a good friend of mine, I said, "This is what we're going to do," and she said to me, "Maurice, it's already created." I went, "Yeah, that's right, it already is." So I could see 2 years in advance of what was actually done, even though I hadn't created it. So I was intuitively, I was tapping into something that had already been created. Now, did I create it? Or did I just listen? Because there's 4 of us here. and we were part of a larger group. So everyone in that group created it. I just picked it up from the field. Yeah, Nathan, this is what you've been looking for. You've been searching for this. You've been part of things. So Nathan has co-created this. VJ, look at you. You've been on your little journeys here and there and everywhere. And look at you, Damien. Fuck, you look, the cumulative self-development and men's groups and exploration just within this space right here and now. I'm not the creator of this. I just picked it up on the field. You have all been pre-paving this. I was just the one who went, hey, here's a good idea. Not my idea. Here's a medium.
It's a good... Yeah, I like this thought process. I was reading something similar. An artist that I enjoy, you probably know this, Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, a couple of guys that write some pretty cool stuff, I think. And someone brought to their attention they may have plagiarized some sort of song or piece. And Nick wrote to Warren. He put this out into the world. I wrote to Warren, what's the go with this song? You wrote it. Did you steal the lyrics, or sorry, the tune, or the? And Warren sort of replied something like, "Oh, maybe, probably, I don't know." And Nick sort of said, "Well, what else have you stolen, Warren?" And Warren said, "Everything, Nick, fucking everything." And that was it. And he put it out in the world, and basically he said, "Nothing's ours. We just, we picked it up and thrown it out there." And I love it, and I agree with you and the people that think like this. It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. So we can never really own anything. And see, when we own something, that's the ego trying to take ownership and identity. This is who I am. And then even this intellectual property bullshit stuff. Oh, that's my IP. Yep. How can that be your IP? Yep. You've picked it up from the. You've put it into particular words. I can't say that. I can say that the program that I offer is a reflection of my life, but what is my life? My life is a conglomerate of all of my experiences with all of the people. I would have to reference every person that I've ever come into contact with.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even then say it was them, because once again, they were just a conduit for life. I had this. So it's funny. I had this thought the other day. Who was it that had the thought? I was just downloading it.
Good way to say it, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this came. Or what? And I like the way. So, what is arising for me at this moment? Yeah. Because as we're speaking, stuff is arising for me. So, but where is it arising from? It's arising from the field. Yeah. And it was. I am but a vehicle of life. That's all I am. But in saying that, the entirety of I am but a vehicle of life. So I think that, and a great mentor of mine, beautiful man, absolute beautiful man, had bipolar, one of the most creative guys that I ever spent time with. And this was back in the day when I was smoking many cones with him. We'd go over there and have these really beautiful philosophical conversations. He said, "Maurice, the best art that you can ever do is to copy nature. That's where the masterpieces exist, is where you copy nature. And that's all we ever do. All we do is copy nature. How can, we don't make up anything. We are conduits. Eckhart Tolle, primary purpose, to come to realization that you are consciousness. Secondary purpose, to work out what you're going to do with that consciousness. You are the vehicle of it. How are you going to then shed it, spread it, shine it? So, becoming more and more aware of that as well. So, it's a beautiful space we have created. We have been a part of. It's just magical. And I'm with you, Nathan. I was sitting there listening to all of these guys and just going, "Oh, fuck, this is just wonderful, isn't it? It's just absolutely
amazing. It's incredible. It's beautiful."